El zaguate, solo come aguacate, es un perro vegano y no come carne, es el lombito, ya no come lomito.
Because like I came from heavy candida, guys. Like I was like working all day and I was just coming home and crashing. And this like health coach told me, oh, you probably have like a candida issue. If that's what, you know, what's happening to you, you feel like you've hit a wall after like not that much of a day, you know, of work. And so before I got into the regenerative healing and raw food detox, like I did a lot of other kind of approaches and tried a lot of mainstream things. And Dr. Hulda Clark, I believe her name is quite famous for like, you know, candida and parasites. And so that's kind of like beginner kind of stuff. I feel like, you know, there's different levels to where you want to go with your info, but being like overly concerned about things that are going to contribute to fungus kind of made me a little neurotic, right? Because like she had us wearing gloves when we like, you know, make our food because she believed that like parasites live under the fingernails. Guys, I have done all this crazy stuff, you know. The easiest, most simple way is to just eat raw foods and have a lot of fresh herbs in your diet. Right now in Toronto, you know, in Canada, we're having amazing weather. Thank the Lord. We finally have, you know, weather that we could grow our own herbs in and our own food. So, but unfortunately we don't get that all year long. But yeah, like mushrooms, guys, I would cook them if they're not medicinal. I wouldn't be eating them raw. There's these mushroom societies you could join. I meet a lot of people. Like I talk to like hundreds of people each week when I'm actually working in the health food stores and stuff. Now that I've been off for COVID, I'm a little bit more inward and just using social media outlets to share. But yeah, like I met a man who was like a part of this mushroom society and he like freaked out at me for like talking about eating mushrooms raw. And so he believed that like, no, you have to cook these. It's not healthy to eat them raw. But he couldn't really like elaborate any further. So it's not the best source for information, I don't think. But you guys got to kind of play with things. I wouldn't be trying to eat mushrooms every day on a raw food detox, though, from what I know about them being like, you know, they feed fungus, right? So if you have an overgrowth of candida, like we were saying before, I wouldn't be eating all kinds of mushrooms.
Definitely not a staple. I just want to welcome everyone who just joined, anyone new. If you have any comments, feel free to, questions, put them in the comments. We're just answering questions about detoxification and raw foods. My boy Yamik in the house, shout out. Third day on juices. I'm really happy to hear that, brother. I don't know how long you're going to go, but I plan to do a juice feast myself after this end of May raw, after this 2 weeks of raw. I'm jumping into a 21-day juice cleanse. I know I said I don't like to plan long cleanses. I like to take it one day at a time and let the body decide, but with all my experience in doing it so many times, I know that I can go 21 days, especially in June. I've done it before in June for 30 days, and it's so much easier because I have the elements to connect with. I go out in the sun and into nature, whereas in the winter, 90 days, I was like cold and it was really hard. So I'm happy that Yamik is on the juices and cleansing. It's a really great experience. So if you guys have questions, feel free to write it. Jen, you can finish your thought, and after that, I wanted to ask you a question if you don't mind.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just wanted to mention that there's a lot of information coming at you guys. You know, we're aware that there's so much, you know, we're inundated with info, especially during this time where more people are at home and are creating content for social media outlets. You know, I just want you to just consider being mindful of what info you're consuming. Remember, you are consuming media. Like, you're literally consuming it, just like you're going to be consuming specific foods and things. So we want to be mindful on all levels. So I just wanted to put that out there. You know, Dr. Robert Morse, our teacher and mentor, Kuba and mine, has a book called the Detox Miracle Source Book. And that is like, you know, I think we should be mindful of what information we're choosing to put our attention on. And I congratulate those who are here today, because I think this info is some of the most important. You know, if you're looking to have more peace of mind, better health, more vitality, I think you found the right place. So feel free to fire off your questions like Kuba was saying. And just, you know, learning on your own, using your body as your own science lab or science experiment, and then opening your heart to all beings to inspire and empower. That's what we're all about, you know, and by acting for the benefit of others, we produce this, you know, great joy in the mind. And I'm sure that's what happened to you, Kuba, when you did all of your juicing and stuff. You really connected to yourself and what means a lot to you. And I think that's what this raw food challenge is all about. So join our Facebook group, guys, #EndOfMayRaw, and we're there to offer continued care and support for everyone coming over to the raw food healing journey.
So, so what I wanted to ask, actually, it's a kind of a deep topic, but I wonder if you have thoughts. I feel like you have a little more experience with the detoxification specialization. You did your training a couple of years prior to mine. I did mine last year. But I was wondering if someone is already starting, like someone who has cancer and is starting to do chemotherapy, but they're trying to do the raw foods and juices and great diets and healing and herbs and all that, but they decided to do the chemo because they're suffering too much. Their tumor was too big and was not shrinking. Like, what do you recommend they do? Like, keep going with the raw foods, or just going with the,
What I would like to say first is that chemotherapy is another path to heal, or, you know, it's just another path that somebody who has been diagnosed with cancer. We don't believe in disease, right? We believe in dis-ease. So the body's just not in a state of ease, and that the body can heal from anything. And it's a little tough. I've worked with clients who have chosen to do chemotherapy and radiation. And I used to in the past say, oh, you know, my aunt actually went through ovarian cancer, and thank God she healed. She did do the conventional approach, but I, at the time, was like pretty like against it and opinionated, and you know, I tried not to be judgmental with all of my spiritual teachings and things, but like, you know, I would bring her lavender oil and just try to support her. You know, I couldn't push my beliefs onto her. At the time, I had been trained in Germany with Dr. Peter Jentschura in 2011 as an alkaline health coach. And this is a man who was just like a biochemist. He was connected to all kinds of healers and naturopathic doctors, but the government there viewed him as like a doctor, so they gave him an honorary doctorate. And so I went down, I had the pleasure and honor to get certified with him as an alkaline coach. And at the time when my aunt was going through, you know, the chemo, I was just like, okay, I gotta respect her. I gotta respect her wishes, you know. But when clients come to me, I just let them know, like, well, one lady, okay, I'll tell you one example. She had a stomach tumor like this big, like it was like 2 centimeters. And she had chosen to do chemo and radiation. And I said to her, I wouldn't. And that's all we can say, right? Like, you can't, this is educational only, guys. Like, I have a disclaimer on all my videos now and everything that this is just for education. You know, this isn't to replace the advice of your physician. But she just asked me, like, you know, what do you think? And I just said, well, I wouldn't choose that. In the past, though, when my aunt was going through it, I said, well, I don't know what I would choose. Maybe if I had cancer, right, which we know is just damaged cells, nothing but damaged cells by acids that have gotten in, acids or toxins, that the body should be easily able to detoxify, because these damaged cells, let's call them what they are, should go to the lymph nodes. And then the lymph nodes have macrophages, and these macrophages help you to bring it out through your lymphatic system. The great lymphatic system, everyone. You know, that's what we're here to educate on. Ask us more questions about the lymph system and how that is your true immune system. But basically, these damaged cells get carried out through the kidneys, bladder, and colon, and sometimes the skin. We can sweat out these harmful substances and things. So, but yeah, like when she came to me, I said I wouldn't. And then she basically just chose on her own will, and she created a YouTube channel, you know, for her healing journey from cancer. And she went raw food. She got on the raw foods. She started shrinking the tumor.